Good evening, travelers. The following is from the r/paranormal subreddit in regards to the question, your encounters with doppelgangers. The following stories are taken from the accounts of Redditors that have encountered mimics and doppelgangers. Please listen at your own risk and enjoy these terrifying encounters here at Matchbox Creek. Sorry if I may seem like I'm rambling below, but I would like to share stories from 3 people, including myself. First, Mary is my then dorm mate in a creepy dorm inside our campus. One of Mary's floor mates claimed that she talked to her at our dorm while the real Mary was at another university watching a school game. Her floor mate was 100% sure it was her. Second, Melody is a batchmate in the same university during junior year. She went to another country as an exchange student, and her roommate encountered her doppelganger there. They exchanged conversations with the doppelganger multiple times, but they couldn't seem to remember the details of Melody's lower body whenever she's wearing pants or skirts or her shoes, etc. Lastly, my doppelganger was encountered by a housemate as well as a former workmate. They don't know each other. A workmate reached out to me via Facebook saying that it was nice seeing me at the cafeteria earlier that day. The problem was I've already resigned weeks before that. He claimed that he saw me up close and even talked to me. I brushed this off and didn't tell others, but after several days, my then housemate asked me if I got home okay. She was confused because she saw me buying at the bakery near our apartment long after the real me left and went home. My housemate was in a moving vehicle, so she didn't have the chance to talk to me, but she got a good look and even made eye contact with my doppelganger, who was wearing the same clothes as mine when I left. Has anyone else experienced talking with a doppelganger? Not just hearing a voice mimicking someone you know, but a face-to-face encounter. Yesterday, sometime in the afternoon, I was in the kitchen throwing something away in the trash. My grandma was sitting on the couch on her phone and listening to whatever show she was watching as a background noise. As I'm approaching the trash can, which is located by the 4 front windows of the house in the kitchen, allowing me to see the street and other neighboring houses, the second I drop my trash into the garbage, I'm listening to the TV my grandma is watching. Then suddenly hear a whisper say my name clear as day in my right ear only. I sort of have a unique name. I knew it wasn't the TV saying my name. I immediately looked out at the street to see if anyone called my name, and there's not a soul in sight. I knew it wasn't my grandma because she would have just repeated my name if she got no response from me. What's weird is the voice that whispered my name sounded like my mom's voice, but my mom is very much alive. I'm a little scared that I've encountered a mimic, but I'm truly hoping it was either my great-grandma who passed away or a friend who passed who whispered my name. My boyfriend said I should put a line of salt at my bedroom door and windowsill. I have sage to burn as well. Has anyone else encountered anything like this? Me, 36 female, and my daughter Olivia, 16 female, live in a small town in South Dakota. She goes with her father every weekend. She leaves every Friday afternoon and comes back Sunday evenings. So usually she'll be gone by the time I get home from work on Friday. This particular Friday, when I pulled up to our driveway, I looked up at her window and I noticed her bedroom light was still on. I figured she'd accidentally left it on before leaving. I don't know. I walked into the house and heard movement coming from upstairs. Oh, she's still home, I whispered to myself. I went upstairs and knocked on her bedroom door and slowly opened it. Your dad isn't picking you up this weekend? I asked. No, I told him I want to stay home. She said while looking down at her journal, "Great, I'll make dinner for us and we can watch a movie if you'd like." There was a long pause before she said yes. I closed her door and I thought she was acting a bit standoffish. She usually has a lot to say. I texted her dad asking if they maybe got into some sort of disagreement or argument that led her to not wanting to go with him this weekend. I went downstairs and started making dinner for us. As the food I was cooking, I started organizing things around the house and I noticed Olivia's book bag and coat aren't hung where they usually were. I thought maybe she just took her things up to her bedroom, no biggie. I went into the living room and saw Olivia sitting on the couch facing away from me. I didn't even hear her coming down the stairs. She kind of startled me, especially because she's just sitting there. I went into the living room and I saw Olivia sitting there on the couch facing away from me. I didn't even hear her coming down the stairs. She kind of startled me, especially because she's just sitting there, not on her phone like usual, and the TV was off. I walk over to the kitchen and check on the food. I yell out if she can please pick out a movie for us. I went out to check what movie she picked, and to my surprise, the TV was still off, and she's still just sitting there motionless. "Olivia, you didn't hear me?" I said. I grabbed the remote and picked out a movie. I chose The Conjuring. I love Vera Farmiga. I grabbed our plates, and as I sat down on the couch, I heard a notification coming from my phone in the kitchen. I told her I'll be right back. I checked my phone, and it was a text from her father. After reading his message, my body went cold and stiff, literal chills. He said, "What do you mean? I picked up Olivia from school. We're grabbing dinner with her grandma right now." I feel catatonic at this point. I took a deep breath and walked slowly towards the living room, peeking in to see if it was still sitting on the couch. It was. It was just sitting there, very still, looking forward but away from me. I haven't even seen Olivia's face since I've been home, like the thing has purposely been avoiding eye contact. I went back into the kitchen. I didn't know what to do. I'm fucking terrified. I had to go back out there. My car keys are in the living room. I took a deep breath and got the courage to walk out confidently like everything was normal. It was gone. I didn't know why I yelled out Olivia, my stupid, confused human instincts. I heard its voice coming from upstairs, sounding just like my daughter. It said, "Mom, I'm upstairs. Mom, I'm upstairs. I need your help." In the most sinister voice. Hell no. I grabbed my keys and ran the fuck out of the house. I was shaking so much I couldn't even put the damn keys in the ignition. God, I wish I had a push start for this very moment. As I reversed out of my driveway, I looked up at the house and it was at Olivia's window waving at me, faceless. I couldn't breathe. I never drove off so fast in my life. So basically, my house is haunted to some degree. I could go more in depth on why I think that if you all wish me to. But a couple of days ago, my sister and her boyfriend came inside. Sister, "We heard something weird out there." Me, "What do you mean?" Sister's boyfriend, "It was like someone saying "Ow," like a dog howling, so I did it back, and it did it back to me." Fast forward to today. Literally maybe an hour ago, I'm outside calling my cat to come in because where we live we have a lot of coyotes and I don't want him staying outside all night, at least until he gets bigger. I'm standing there calling him, "Echo, Echo," and a couple of yards from me I hear what sounds like a man say meow. I'm not entirely up to date on my knowledge of demons or spirits, but I have heard of mimic demons pretending to be humans and mimicking their voices. But this voice wasn't somebody I recognized. Any thoughts? Edit. My sister literally just told me that she's been having dreams about her walking inside from her car and dying. Unspecified of how, that's all she said. My house has been occupied by a spirit or spirits for as long as I can remember. My mom has had paranormal encounters her entire life, so I think she is the person they all gravitate to the most. I try to ignore things I hear in my house because it freaks me out. I don't really care about elsewhere, but I don't want to hear or see stuff in my own home, which I may, which, which I have many times before. Anyways, that's just to say that I feel I don't experience as much because I have shut my mind off to the idea of it. I try to block it out, like when I'm downstairs in my basement exchanging laundry at night or something, for example. Recently, my parents and I were all home. I was in the kitchen and my mom was in the other room. My dad was walking out of the kitchen into the room with my mom and calling her name to get her attention. I heard what sounded like her voice respond, "Yes," in a silly, light voice that my mom would use, but maybe not in that moment, because when my actual mom answered, she was kind of pissy and had a nastier tone. I heard it and immediately asked my dad if he heard it. Nothing, just me. I heard it in the same spot in the hallway that I heard it in the same spot in the hallway a few days later. My mom had heard me call out to her. Turns out I wasn't even home when this happened. I was at the gym. My mom thought I had come home early and snuck into my room. She called me immediately to make sure I was okay and not in danger, as that wouldn't be off the table for her to hear if I were. She's a very spiritual, in tune, and can sense a lot of things well or before they're happening. It was just weird. Years ago, near that very spot right behind my door leading to the same hallway, I was in my room alone with no background noise, and I hear my recently deceased great aunt go, "Hi," in her unmistakable twang and voice. I was so spooked I got chills down my back and hightailed it into my parents' room to tell them what just happened. This is all just to say we have mimics, things going on in the house, and I wish I didn't. A mimic is the creepiest thing they can do, which we are lucky. It could be so much worse. Besides audibly move things and around occasionally, like one time we were sitting in the kitchen and heard every single one of our heavy dining room chairs be pulled out and scrape on the hardwood floor. Went into the dining room and all the chairs were out, as if someone just did it. We heard the whole thing, just looking at each other with wide eyes. We hear our front door open and shut a lot randomly. So much more has happened in that house. My mom sees a lot of stuff that I thankfully do not see. But we all kind of just go about our business or tell them to stop if they're creeping us out. I'm hoping this recently amplified activity doesn't keep up. I think there's a mimic in my house. My family has had a really big 3 out of 3 when it comes to haunted houses. Every house we move into tends to be haunted as hell. The house we currently live in is the strangest one out of them all. My room is in the basement, and right next to my room is the laundry room. I consistently hear my name getting called from this room. It's not when I'm just in my room too, it randomly happens, and it always comes from the direction of the laundry room. Almost every time I hear it call, it sounds like my mom. Now I know people randomly hear their name all the time, and that's just a thing that can happen from your mind playing tricks on you, but I hadn't experienced that completely 180 this for me. Our upstairs shower broke, and we have a shower in the laundry room. No one uses, so our upstairs shower broke, and we have a shower in the laundry room that no one uses, so we needed to use that one for the time being. I used it a couple times, no problem, but me and my family members all had this same weird experience. While showering, there would always be this shadow that you could see through the blurry door move across the room, like right in front of you. It really freaked us out. Here's when things really get crazy though. I was showering and I see the usual shadow. I pass it off as I kind of just got used to it. I then hear a child laugh. That scared the shit out of me. I yelled, "Hello!" And right after I do, I hear tapping and knocking from all across the room, so I open the shower and I no joke see a fucking little girl in the corner of the room staring at me. The corner of the room has this little notch area that leads into the crawl space, and after I stared for a solid second and saw it run into there, after that I lost my shit. I started screaming and then I heard it say, "Play with me." After all that, barely ever go into that room, and I still hear my name being called from there consistently. I also saw the girl in my room once, but I'll save that story for now. This is Jay. I just wanted to come in for the end of this video. I just finished recording all of these terrifying encounters with mimics and doppelgangers, and I have to say I am terrified. I have a certain phobia when it comes to these types of encounters. Just the thought of hearing a loved one's voice coming from your home or around your property and it not being them, and you blindly rushing to protect them only to find yourself coming face to face with a demon mimicking their voice. It drives chills up my spine and renders my body filled with goose flesh. To end this video, I will give a personal story I have with mimics. This story was told to me by my great-grandfather when I was just 7 years old. He told me that when he was a young man in 1920, he was only about 7 years old in 1927, that him and his younger brother would have to traverse into the woods for days to gather food and firewood. And he would tell me these stories of seeing fire jumping and dancing across open fields and prairies. But he would also tell me that the worst thing that he ever encountered was hearing something using his own voice calling his name from deep into the brush. He always told me, if you hear anything resembling a family member's voice or your own, run the opposite way, because you don't know what it looks like. You don't know how strong it is, and you don't know what it wants to do with you. The only thing you can do for certain is run. I hope you enjoyed these terrifying encounters, and please let us know how we did in the comments below. I always enjoy reading these terrifying tales, and I do plan on reading more of these mimic and doppelganger stories. This has been a terrifying recording session for me. I hope you all had fun like I did here at Matchbox Creek.